I've often heard that most people at the end of their lives want to know, have I loved well? It's not, should I have done more work at the office, but have I loved well in my life? So looking at some of those questions that we all have to face sooner or later, it's like sorting it out and finding out what really matters and what's most important. And in some ways, that's what we do in therapy, is trying to, rearrange our lives so that we can live more in alignment with what we really care about.
Thinking to ask you about your work and intuition, but now I'm thinking that maybe better we talk about, those things like love and death and freedom and what they mean to you, and maybe
I would say that teaching and healing have been the main things that I see. My professional standing as a psychologist has been a good place to stand and to be able to speak about the things that really matter.
Yes. So can we speak about death a little bit? What do you think?
Well, I think that we have so many opportunities to express kindness and compassion.
In life?
Yeah. Being willing to be in touch with deep feelings is really important.
Maybe we can continue more about your view of the death, do people die, you think, or they
I don't know.
The theoretical
Yes,
part of it.
I feel that I love the story. There's a wonderful story about the Zen master when someone came to ask him about death, and the student said, "Are you? Can you please tell me about death?" And the Zen master said, "I don't know." And the student said, "But you're a Zen master." Right. And he says, "But not a dead one." So there's that sense of really recognizing the limitations of what we know, and then recognizing that different people have different beliefs about what happens, and very often what happens at the end of life is that whatever spiritual education they've had early in life tends to surface again. So that what's important, say, for a counselor working at the end of life is to be able to listen and able to hear whatever the person is dealing with, and not to try and impose any of their views on the person who's doing the dying.
Yes.
Because they have to deal with their own inner life and their own fears and their own beliefs, and not the counselor's ideas or beliefs. So how do we keep our own ideas out of the way? And in terms of metaphors, I think that life leads us to, it's like the drop of water returning to the ocean, that we are individuals and we get very attached to our own separateness, but in fact we're all very much connected and very much a part of it all. So that recognition, I think, is very important for all of us.
I'm thinking right now, you're speaking about understanding a person, accepting a person. How about challenging a person?
Absolutely.
Somebody needs maybe a little kick in the butt, like a push.
Yes,
How do you think? Yes, that's also...
Well, it's important,
A good therapist is sensitive enough to see what's needed and authentic enough to do whatever it is needed. And if that means pushing then that's a challenging, and that's absolutely appropriate. You know, one of the hallmarks of a good therapist is flexibility, a willingness to do what's necessary in the moment. And the only way we know what's necessary in the moment is our own feeling intuition. So we have to be very sensitive to what's going on, what the quality of the relationship is, to be as sensitive to this person as possible, to be as caring and compassionate, and willing to do whatever's necessary, and challenge them if that's necessary. You know, and that's true in a relationship too. You know.
Challenge each other.
Oh, well, she challenges me a lot,
But I know you write books together sometimes. So.
which can be very challenging.
Yes, I was trying to do stuff with my husband.
It can be very challenging, and she's my best critic, and she's willing to say things that other people aren't. You know, it's like,
This is not very good writing. And vice versa. No, it's been very, very nice to be able to be each other's editors and critics, because I think probably both our work has improved for them.
Do you fight when you?
Sometimes.
fortunately, we both have been doing our psychological, our therapy and our meditative practices, so we don't fight much. Fortunately,
No,
we usually
it's not really fighting anymore.
We're able to talk through most, but of course, any relationship is challenging.
But you compete? Do you compete when you write?
Not anymore.
No, I don't think so.
No,
But you did.
We're more supportive of each other. But when the first time, early in our relationship, when I showed Roger something I was working on, and he said, "Oh, well, where's your data? Oh, this doesn't make sense." And then I said, "Well, I'll never show him anything again, But then, and the same was true when he showed me something he was working on. I said, "This is unreadable, too many words, whatever."
Yes.
So, but then after we got over that initial kind of critical approach, we found that we both benefited from our suggestions and changes. So now we're much more gentle with each other. We say,
But he's still truthful, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, in fact.
that's the kind of helping that helps.
Yeah, I would say one of the things we value most is the fact that we can be completely honest with each
Yes.
other. And
No, that's true.
one thing we've learned is that the intimacy of a relationship depends on how much you can tell someone. Anything you can't communicate sets up a barrier and a distance and closes you off. So any thought that you can't communicate, any feeling you can't communicate, anything you've done is like a barrier that gets in the way.
Yes.
So one of the things that we've practiced, which has been really helpful, is if there's anything I feel embarrassed about, to tell immediately, as soon as possible.
It's not always nice to hear it, but,
But it's really...
but it does take away the barriers.
It really makes a difference. And then there's an incredible sense of safety and freedom that comes when you are in a relationship where you know there's nothing I can't tell this person. Nothing, no thought I have, no emotion I have, anything I do that I can't tell her.
Even if it's another,
Another woman.
another one.
Oh, sure, yeah.
How to say that?
Yeah, so you tell us.
Oh no, I get attracted to lots of women, but she's kind of bored about hearing. It's like she just assumes that I will be attracted to other women. That's just the way it is.
But whether he acts on it or not is something else.
well,
it's different. But the attraction happens to all of us, I think, all through life, regardless of whether we choose to act on it or not.
Do you can you say you love your patients?
Oh, yes, I think so. I think the best work is done when you can really open your heart, and to just really give them an experience of unconditional positive regard. That's what Carl Rogers called it, because sometimes people get uncomfortable with the word love. But if you scratch the surface, I think it's something that everyone would like to be able to open their hearts. I think the big challenge is how do you love and let go at the same time? And that comes to all of us as parents, because we love our children, and yet we know that we have to let them go, and not be possessive. And then we always have to look back and say, oh, maybe I should have done this differently or that differently. But most parents, certainly most healthy parents, do the best they can. And we make mistakes, but hopefully our children will forgive us. And the hardest thing sometimes in therapy is to forgive our parents. And it's usually easier to do after you've had children of your own. You have a little more empathy for some of their challenges. So, but that is important work. And also forgiving our children for not being whatever we thought they were supposed to be. Because they are all, going to find their own individuality. And when we love somebody, we want them to be just perfect. And they never are, Everybody has their gifts and talents and challenges and difficulties, and we're all human. Good wisdom.
How about romantic love?
Well, romantic love, that's another challenge of how do you love and let go, because so many times you can have a very intense, important relationship in your life, and yet it's temporary. You know it won't last. You know that you're not necessarily going to spend the rest of your life with this person. You're not necessarily, maybe you wouldn't want to marry them, but nevertheless there's some very intense connection there.
And how do you let go?
First, I think you have to say, do I have a willingness to let go? I'm grateful for the relationships that I had in my life that were temporary, that I knew I wasn't going to be with this person forever. We learn a lot from relationships,
What do you do with the pain? Because, there's letting go is a good idea, but it comes with a...
It's not always easy.
Yeah,
it's not easy.
It's not easy.
No.
So.
But the Buddhists say that we create a lot of our suffering by our clinging and attachment. And if we can practice being in the moment, then it gets a little easier with time. Knowing that everything is temporary. All relationships are temporary. Even if you get married and are together, like Roger and I have been together now 30-some years, and yet, someday one of us will die. I mean, it's unlikely that we'll die at the same instant, but it's possible, but unlikely. And so you know that relationships are temporary, and in that sense, maybe it makes it more precious, more important to really be as fully present as you can be in each moment, because this is the only time there is, It's like all of the future and all of the past exist only in the mind. No, they're not here now. And to really try to be more fully in the present. And then, you can really have wonderful interactions and connections with people when you know that, like my interaction with you is very much temporary, and yet for me, it's important. So I think the more we can be willing to be fully in the moment, because so much of our mental life is about the past or the future. The past is usually about feeling either resentment or guilt about the past. And if we can let go of resentments and feelings of anger towards what people did or didn't do in the past, and let go of our feelings of guilt about what we wish we had done differently, then we can be more fully present. And then the future, it's always our fears that get in the way, our fear about the future. And so it's like the other thing we know about fear is that the more willing we are to talk about it and to face it and say, these are the things that I'm afraid of, then they don't seem so bad.
So if there is a message that you could, that you are saying to the world with your life, what would it be? Or the question, I don't know. The message or the question.
I would say that The message is one of that to trust yourself, to really know that you have within you all the resources you need to make choices that are right for you.
But how do I know which one? Myself, there's so many of myself. How do I know which one to trust?
Well, I would say this, that you listen to all the voices, but you make the choice. It's like the psychosynthesis used to teach that we all have sub-personalities and everyone has a different attitude.
Yes.
And so, but you want to listen to them all, and then you choose and decide what's important. But what I've noticed, I did a lot of Gestalt work in my practice too, and having the Gestalt dialogue between the superego and the top dog and the underdog. You know, that
maybe we can explain the words to the audience, the
Yes.
underdog and top dog.
Yes, well, the superego is the person inside who's your critic and who's telling you what you should do.
Yeah.
And the underdog is the one who says, oh, give me a break. I just want to hang out and be who I am. And they always have a difference of opinion, the top dog and the underdog. But when you sit them down and you have a dialogue between them, so you allow your top dog to say, this is what you should do, and you allow your underdog to say, I don't want to, stop, get off my back, leave me alone. That kind of inner dialogue, and if you can do it out loud with a witness, the therapist there, pretty soon you find that there is a way that they can come together. There's a
creative way.
Yes, that they can talk to each other anyway. There's a little exercise that I found very helpful. If you tell me your shoulds, tell me what you should do. Tell me, several things. This is a structured exercise. So I should.
Like,
yeah, you
shall I
said
do that?
yes,
Yeah.
do it.
Okay, I should be professional.
No. Tell me the next one.
I should be a good team player.
No.
I should be able to talk well and express myself clear for others.
No.
Okay, I should be respectful to people that are higher than me in age or position.
No. Okay, we've done 4 now,
Yes,
Well, if we were working together in therapy, I might ask you to continue until you finished your shoulds. So now tell me again the same 4 things, one at a time, and say, I could, and I have a choice. I could be professional.
I could be professional and I have a choice.
Yes.
Then I could be respectful to people that are higher than me in position and older people, but I have a choice.
And I have a choice.
And I have a choice.
Yes.
Do you remember what I said? No.
No, you have to remember.
I have to remember. Okay. I forgot. I forgot, but I have a choice. I could express myself well to others, and I have a choice.
Yes. Yes.
That's very freeing.
It is, isn't it?
I could remember all my 4 things, and I have a choice.
Okay. That's good. Yes. Now, it's if you change the inner dialogue, when you hear yourself saying, I should do this, you can say to yourself instead, I could do this, and I have a choice.
That's very freeing.
It really can be helpful. And there's so many simple things like that we can remind ourselves of. And one of the things that I often say to people is, remember that help is always available. And you have inner resources, like your dreams, or your prayers, or your meditation. Those will open up your inner resources. And then you also have outer resources. There are many people in the world that you can talk to and that can be helpful. And you're the only one who can decide what teachers to listen to. Trust yourself, I think, and really awakening your intuition is a lot about learning to trust yourself.
Even
And to
strange.
Even what?
Even strange parts of.
Even strange, to make friends with all the different parts of yourself. And get to know them better so that you don't feel like some of them have to be kept in the closet, but just to really engage and talk to them, like the inner child, for example, to make friends with your inner child.
Yeah, that one I know.
That one you know? Good. Yes, and to reassure the one who's afraid or anxious.
Yeah, that one is in the closet.
Okay. And so you can talk to her too. So there are a lot of visualizations that you can do that are helpful in that way too. So I think there are just so many, nowadays there are so many ways and so many books that can give you instruction too.
But it was very special to meet you in person and to feel you. And books are great, seminars are great, but just to feel you, to meet you, to be with you. And I hope maybe audience can also feel that. I hope.
Oh, I hope so.
So that's
it's saying, well, we do what we can.
Yeah.
And one thing that I've noticed about aging is that it's a matter of coming to terms with my limitations, because I noticed, I don't have as much energy as I used to 20 years ago, and then I find that coming to terms with my limitations makes me more accepting and more willing to accept other people's limitations. So it probably makes me a nicer person to be, without, I'm not so impatient or worried about things that I can't control. But we do what we can at any age, and we all struggle with our challenges of how to love and let go. Yeah.
I'll have to let you go.
It's been a pleasure.
Yeah,
I'm glad that we had a chance to talk. Yeah.